Welcome, mortal souls, to Strange Darkness Radio. Within the echoes of our hosts' haunting voices, terror weaves through the airwaves like a malevolent symphony. I am Benson, your spectral guide, leading you into the uncharted realms of the macabre. Brace yourself for a descent into a paranormal abyss with the host of Strange Darkness Radio as they traverse through tales that linger in the shadows. Spectral apparitions, haunted domains, cryptids, and otherworldly encounters. Embrace the darkness, extinguish the lights, and steel your nerves for a bone-chilling night into the heart of the unknown. It's time for Strange Darkness Radio.
I can feel it coming in the air tonight.
What is happening? We are back for another episode of Strange Darkness Radio. I'm your host, Bobby Washington, along with Amy Tydeman and Vanessa Scaduto. Ladies, how are you doing tonight?
Pretty good. How are you?
Fantastic.
Good.
But yeah, tonight has been very intriguing. We have a great show for you all tonight, and it's about EVPs. And anytime I do a show where there is dealings with spectral disembodied or embodied voices or electronics, my stuff usually starts acting crazy. So other than me fighting the spectral ghosts that are in the system of electronics, everything has been fantastic.
Glad to hear that, B.
Yeah, I will say this, though. We are in some kind of shift that supposedly this month, the beginning of the month, everybody's going to experience some weird technology stuff. So.
Oh, that's interesting. You should have gave me a heads
up.
up.
Shift?
Yeah, it's a shift.
What is it, though? It's like something with the moon and the stars?
All the planets. I guess it's all the planets moving around, like Venus and Mars. And I'm not, you guys know I'm into weird stuff, but astrology is not like one of my strong suits. I just started learning like what my sign is and the houses they are in. So I've never been like super into that stuff, but I guess that's, some of the things that people who are say. So I just listen to those people who know more than me.
I have a birthday book, so I'll have to get your birthday and send you a copy of yours, and you can let us know if it's accurate or not. I find it's usually pretty accurate about people.
Yeah, that would be cool. I mean, I'm totally into it because, I know there's like Vedic astrology. There's also, Chinese zodiacs and things like that. But I just know what I am. I just don't know the depths of all that stuff. So.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, you guys ready to dive into tonight's show? Which I don't, I didn't want to comment on astrology because I don't know anything about it other than I did buy a book that Amy, I wouldn't say she had me buy, but she was telling me about it. It was really interesting. Haven't really dug into it. It's like probably as thick as the Bible.
Cool.
But there's a lot to it. But yeah, I don't know much about astrology.
You'll have to tell me the book later, Amy.
Yeah,
I will.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It's pretty good.
Interesting. But tonight we're diving into a topic that has intrigued paranormal investigators, skeptics, believers alike for ages. Well, I would say for the time that this actually occurred and we started, developing devices that we can either broadcast or record on, things like that. And I'm talking about, again, EVPs. Are they evidence of communication with the dead or just auditory pareidolia? Pareidolia is like your brain trying to make sense out of what it's hearing because it's used to hearing certain things. And it's just, whether it's visual pareidolia or audio, it just tries to make sense out of it, whether it's a shape that you see at a distance and you're like, because that's what a lot of people say when they're seeing like UFOs or different craft or different things. And it's your brain trying to make it make sense. And your ears, they do the same thing when it comes, or I should say your brain does the same thing when it comes to sound. and you're always trying to focus. I mean, even it's so funny because when I'm listening to people, I have a total different visual of how I think they sound because of their voice, whether I think they're stocky, skinny, just even how they look. My brain automatically tries to put that into perspective. And then when I see them, I'm like, damn, they look nothing like their voice or what I thought they looked like. But this is a little different because it goes into what something is saying or how distinctively it is being said. There are different forms of EVP, which we will definitely get into. And this is going to be a very interesting show because I've been telling you guys for the longest time about these EVPs that I've caught on my show while doing the show. So I definitely can't wait to get into that part because I thought I lost them because my hard drive has crashed so many times and is on like a brand new iMac. And for whatever reason, the hard drive, the super drive kept messing up and I kept taking it back to Apple and they're like, everything is totally fine. I'm like, okay, you're telling me everything is totally fine. You're having to reset everything. My time machine, which is my backup, is not working. I'm losing all my files. I do a show and I have these files on here. And yes, I do have external hard drives, but sometimes I forget to do a backup. And I'm thinking, iMac has a built-in backup, which is Time Machine. It backs up where you want it to back up for you, but sometimes it doesn't do it. And I tell them, I was like, just replace the hard drive. I'll pay for it. Don't worry about it. Oh, we don't want to replace a hard drive that is perfectly working fine. And I was like, I don't care. And they refuse to replace it. It's the weirdest thing. But I've since, I still have that computer because it was a 25 or a 27-inch iMac and everything. But anyways, I didn't think I had the files anymore. So I had to take a deep dive just to find the files because these are from shows that are like 2 years old and one's from a show that's a year old. And I was hoping I didn't end up losing the files, but I did find them. So we will get into everything. But let's go ahead and let Benson launch this ship.
In the silence they whisper, voices from the void, echoes of the forgotten. Tonight we venture into the heart of darkness, where the living dare not tread. Electronic voice phenomena, EVPs, those mysterious sounds that haunt the recordings of the brave and the curious. Are they messages from beyond the grave or mere tricks of the mind? Listen closely, for in the static and the shadows, secrets await. Prepare to confront the unknown as we delve into the chilling world of EVPs, where the voices of the dead may be calling your name.
And everybody has a different interpretation of EVPs, whether it is a loved one talking to you, is it a spectral voice, is it a recorded message that is just in time and keeps going. It's not a disembodied voice. Disembodied voice is a voice that you actually hear with your ears, opposed to something that you actually capture digitally. And that separates the EVP. I did go back and watch, you guys need to definitely watch it. It's a movie called White Noise. It came out in 2005 with Michael Keaton. It's a really good movie. It still holds up. I love the trailer for it. I had to go ahead and download the trailer to play that for you guys because the trailer actually uses real live EVPs in the trailer. With Sarah Estep, who is the one that actually got this EVP, and I believe who is the founder of the Association of Electronic Voice Phenomenon. It's really interesting and it's extremely clear. So let's go ahead and play that.
What you are about to hear is real. It has not been edited or enhanced. It is the voice of Ruth Baxter. This voice was recorded in August 2003. Ruth Baxter died in 1987. Electronic Voice Phenomenon, EVP, is the process by which the dead, through sound and image, communicate with the living through the static and white noise of modern electronic devices. What we've all hoped to be true is in fact possible. Our loved ones can reach us.
Mr. Rivers, do you want to hear your wife?
But if they can come through, who else can come through?
So yeah, I wanted to play that because I thought it was very interesting because of the clarity of some of that audio. But as far as the backstory on the origins of EVPs, let's get into that so that way we can definitely dive deeper into the whole facet of EVPs, because there are so many categories. I know a lot of people are like, either I hear it, I don't hear it, it shows up, it doesn't show up. They don't really care one way or the other about all the different descriptions of EVPs, but I want you guys to know what they are, the origins, and then we're going to go over the classes.
The origins of EVP research. The study of EVPs can be traced back to the mid-20th century. One of the earliest pioneers was Friedrich Jürgenson, a Swedish filmmaker who claimed to have recorded voices of deceased loved ones while taping bird songs in 1959. Later, Latvian psychologist Konstantin Raudive expanded on Jürgenson's work, documenting thousands of EVP recordings in his book Breakthrough. Raudive described the voices as faint and often cryptic, requiring careful listening and interpretation. His work inspired a wave of interest in EVP research and cemented its place in paranormal studies.
So yes, that is extremely interesting. And when I was even rewatching White Noise, ladies, I was like, you know what? I remember a guy, and I was like, let me look this up. Who was the creator of the Spirit Box, right? And it was Gary Galka. And the reason why he did it is because he was trying to communicate with his daughter, because there were various things that was happening. And he was like, you know what, let me try to create something, or because she was trying to come through various different ways. And that's what you do here, especially when people aren't doing ghost investigations, right? When you're doing a ghost investigation, you're going to a location, you have your recorder on, you're trying to do, get EVPs, right? But imagine having someone that you love pass away, and there are various things happening in the home, and you're like, what is going on? Like, there's something weird, right? And then you start getting like just weird sounds coming through your Bluetooth speaker, or just odd things happening, right? And you're like, what is that? And then that's when you start fishing, and going down, different rabbit holes to find out what's actually happening. And that's if you're aware of it, if you're paying attention to it. But there are some things that are so blatant that you experience, you're like, no, this is paranormal. There's something going on. And that is how, the different various versions of the spirit boxes got created. And I'm going to play that for you guys real quick here.
Gary Galka, an electrical engineer, created paranormal devices like the Mel meter and spirit box after his daughter Melissa tragically passed away in a car accident in 2004. Following her death, Gary and his family experienced numerous after-death communications, ADC, such as ringing doorbells, lights turning on and off, and sensing her presence. These experiences inspired him to develop tools to communicate with her spirit. Notably, he recorded Melissa saying, "Hi, Daddy, I love you," through the spirit box, affirming her continued presence.
Yeah, and he's been on various shows like Ghost Hunters. I know he did a lot of work with them in developing spirit boxes for them and everything. Because one, even now, spirit boxes, if you get a real one that someone created, it's extremely expensive to get it. And I mean, you can get the smaller, the recorders. And it's funny how if you get the high-end recorders, they don't seem to work. But then you get the cheap, low-end recorders, they seem to pick up things. And I don't know why that is. I don't know if it's because of the technology is not that, I should say, state of the art. It's more old school in how it's being put together. And again, I truly don't believe that these are fragmented sounds that we're trying to make it make sense type situation. Only because as I'm talking to you all and you guys hear my voice being broadcast over the airwaves, right, of the internet or your phone or however you're receiving this podcast, there are things that come through my equipment now or the other end of somebody else's equipment. And various times, like when I play Silver Rain's audio, she was actually talking on her cell phone. And I play Melissa from Sac Spirit. I believe it's Sac Spirit. Melissa was from, I believe she was on the Skype call when we talked to her. When you're a person who delves into the paranormal, and especially do a lot of ghost hunting and you do a lot of cleansing, I think spirits travel with you or they try to communicate because they're like, hey, I know you can hear me. I know you're there. And so it's just very odd to me. But let's go ahead and keep it moving. And I want to get into classifications, and because I really want to get into these EVPs. I mean, this is just wild. But here we go for the classifications on the EVPs.
In a world beyond the veil, where whispers hide in the shadows, comes a phenomenon that defies explanation. Electronic voice phenomena, or EVPs, are the mysterious voices captured on recordings, unseen and unheard by the human ear. But how do we unravel their secrets? From the unmistakable to the barely audible, each class holds a secret. Let's explore them together. Class A EVP. Clear and distinct voices that can be understood by anyone without prompting or headphones. Often regarded as the most credible, as they require minimal interpretation. Class B EVP. Fairly loud and distinct, but may require some direction to interpret. Commonly captured during investigations and often audible without headphones. Class C EVP. Faint, whisper-like sounds that are difficult to understand. Usually requires amplification or headphones. Often dismissed due to low reliability. Class R Reverse EVP. Messages that appear intelligible when audio is played in reverse. Class X EVP. Unexplained anomalies that do not fit traditional categories but show potential for further study.
So those are all the classifications. And again, most investigators will just say, either I can hear it, I can't hear it, I'm going to turn it up, or I'm going to use headphones to do it. Or, a lot of people just use the speaker on the freaking small recorder, which is horrible because the recorder itself is really bad, right? But when you play it in your headphones, it's really distinct. And what is not there in these classifications, I thought was interesting, was my scenario. Meaning I'm using software. I use Logic Pro X to edit down my show and all that good stuff, right? So I see everybody's voice in a waveform. And it's funny because I can actually see a waveform and I know what that word is going to be just because of the shape of the wave, because I've been doing this so long. And so I'm usually going, and if I'm cutting something, I was like, oh, okay, this person said this too many times. And I know you guys always hear my, what do I say, Amy, all the time? I don't even, it's so, my you knows. I cut out so many you knows you don't even know. But, but yeah. So when I'm personally am seeing audio come up, and I'm like, okay. And again, I'm talking about as clear as I'm talking, not really low, pretty loud, right? Not something not, just whispering in the background or something like that. Or it could be a noise. Any bump, any sound will show a graph, and you'll be able to see it. But then when I'm editing and it's just blank, and then I hear audio, I'm like, okay, what's up? And it's very, very extremely rare that this happens. It's only happened like probably 4 times. And it's been Melissa who's a paranormal investigator who goes out and cleanses homes, and Silver Rain, who's into a lot of different things along with cleansing, along with witchcraft and just different things that she does. And she does have things in her home that she talks about on the show. I was able to things were answering questions before she was answering. And
like voices, you mean?
Yes, and you'll hear.
We're answering questions.
Yeah,
really cool.
You'll hear it, and some I don't have, which I couldn't find everything. It's just unreal. It is the best way.
Bobby, just to play devil's advocate, not because I'm saying I don't believe it, because that's not the case. I do believe this, but like other people will say, is it possible there was somebody else in the room and they were talking?
I love it. I'm glad you said that. Any audio will show a graph. It will show the person's waveform. So any audio, it's not about a particular person talking. Any sound that comes up will show a actual graph. And you know what? If I can share my screen, let me see. Now Amy has me doing something that this is unprompted, only because I think this might be good for the people who are going to be watching this on YouTube. Let me pull up
because I was going to say, Bobby, even when I edit some of the podcast episodes, for the Greek gods and stuff, I know immediately if it's a click or if it's a pop, that maybe I accidentally hit the table. Yeah. But I still listen to it before I just delete it or, cut it out or something. I still always listen just in case. Mm-hmm. But yeah, you can see it. And I tend to use the waveform too. I prefer to look at it. Also, what I use is Audition by Adobe. So it even has the heat signature of the waveform. Yeah. So that's interesting to watch too, is how hot the mic gets when you're with certain sounds.
So like a human voice would be like red, like hot, right?
Yeah, well, right. It depends like how close you are to the mic, if there's a pop, or like I realize with me too, there's a lot of like these little sounds my mouth makes that I only hear when I'm editing, and I go, oh, I don't want to hear this little sound, like those sounds. And,
now I'm back. I'm just wanting to let you guys know it actually went away. So I'm back. But told you
you're having more issues.
No, that was my computer saying you giving Skype permission to share your screen, and I had to do that to get into a particular screen, which
Oh, okay. I was trying to play into your whole. You were saying that whenever you do anything like this, you have all kinds of issues. So.
That's true, but it was actually okay. So you guys can see my screen, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so here is this is Dr. Elizabeth Freed's show, an editing situation. This here is track 6 is Benson's intro. The top one here, the male narrator, is my audio, and the female narrator is the audio from the three of you, Dr. Freed, Vanessa, and Amy. So as you can see in this graph, This is where you're seeing all the audio here. So let me take this off. So I'm going to play a clip. So as you can see, this audio right here is, okay, that's my audio. I'm actually going to solo this particular track. So there's nothing. It's just blank, right? So when you have so any audio that's created, you're going to have this graph that shows up. And so that's what I mean by nothing being there, but yet you have audio as loud as Vanessa's voice. So that is, that's indistinguishable between something and nothing, on this thing here.
So you're saying that the wave file looks flat, like there's nothing.
No, there's
there, but
nothing.
You hear something.
Yes.
But
yes.
you actually hear it. Okay.
Yes. And here's the thing.
That's
also
very interesting.
Once I actually bounce it, bouncing is when I'm recording and throwing it out, finish editing and everything else, and I bounce it out and then I put it back in, then it shows the graph. The graph is there. It like pulls that audio and, now you can actually hear it. I mean, now you see it. You can always hear it, but now you can actually see it. So yes.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, I find that extremely, and we are recording, right? I'm just double checking. I don't think.
Yeah, it says recording progress. I think you're just sharing your screen still.
Okay, because on my end, it doesn't say recording. I don't. So hopefully we're recording on your end. Okay, again, told you guys there would be technical difficulties. So that's just
Let's make sure. Let's make sure though, real quick, Bobby, because
I can hit mine again.
I don't know.
Starting recording is what it's saying for me. Okay. I just hit it. It says starting recording.
Yeah, there we go. I think when you popped out, it stopped.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So it didn't show that.
I guess you'll have to do it again.
Okay. So ladies and gentlemen, again, we're having fun tonight. Vanessa, you'll definitely probably be editing this one. Jeez. Okay. So what I was explaining to the ladies, which again thought I was recording, hopefully you people who are listening to this audio, I've edited this out so you're not hearing this twice. But you can actually see a graph here for recording. And this is going to be Vanessa's voice that you will hear. And that is from the Dr. Fried episode. And when I'm listening and editing audio, I'm actually, splicing and putting things together and all that good stuff. But something will come up in this open area that shows no audio whatsoever. There's nothing there, period. And the voice will be as loud as what you heard from Vanessa, right? If there's any sound coming through, regardless of how it comes through, it's going to show a graph. It's going to show a wave.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
Yeah, it's going to show a voice wave. Yeah. And I've caught EVPs that I definitely call EVPs because, again, no one's hearing this in real time. So nobody's responding to what's happening in real time. I hear this afterwards. And then I even, would send stuff to Silver. It's like, hey, did you hear this during the show? She's like, no, I didn't hear that. And, but you hear it afterwards.
Bobby,
mm-hmm.
Have you, just curious, have you gone back and compared the actual video? Because, like on Zoom or Skype, when that person has sound coming from their side,
yes,
the screen lights up.
Mm-hmm.
Have you done a comparison between the graph that you're looking at there and then a Zoom or Skype video?
We weren't Skyping. She's on the phone. There was no Skype.
Okay.
This was a phone call. So, but
even
with Melissa, yes. Any sound, any static, when Skype breaks down, does whatever, it all shows up. Any audio that it hears, it has to register on here. It registers as a wave. It's going to, it could be light, it can be quiet, you can whisper, it's still going to be there. It's not going to be blank. It's not going to be, just a line itself. So,
right,
yeah.
but I think it's pretty interesting, that thought, though. Next time if this happens, we have to check the video to compare if there was like some sound in the video showing that it was coming through, but we just never noticed it. You know what I mean? That would be interesting
again,
to see.
you guys have got to understand too, I'm recording on multiple tracks. So
Right.
so I have to make sure, not only do I have to make sure of that, I got to make sure it's not coming from my side. There are times when audio, am I still sharing?
Yes.
Okay. So I have to make sure it's not in a file that I did as far as a track. It's not coming from my PC.
Right.
So everybody has their own distinctive file. And this is what I mean by, like, if I play just my audio and solo that, here we go. So I gotta, so even when I'm not talking, I gotta make sure I'm not doing something on my side to bleed that sound into your track.
Right.
So, and I do get that when there's multiple people on a call, like you guys are on one track being recorded, there could be a bunch of sounds that's coming from your home, and I can't take it out because you're on that one track. But it still will show a wave. It still will show a graph on there.
Yeah, no,
it's
I think
recording
it would
audio.
just be interesting to see going forward if there was some weird thing that we just didn't pay attention to, or even more validating if the box didn't light up and yet there's sound still at that moment. I think that's what Amy's trying to say, is like that could be even a triple check, because of course you're doing all your editing, so you're going to see everything. But I just think
to see if
you
there's
wanted
a
to
sound
prove
that comes
even
across.
more,
Yeah.
I just think that's a really cool idea, though, Amy. I'm going to keep that.
Yeah, well,
check.
that I might have that Melissa episode, but I want to say I don't think anything came up at all. Not even the thumbs up. Not even any of that stuff came up. I think it's just because again, it's not even we didn't hear it live. So it wasn't something that was caught live, as far as with our ears anyways. It was something that was caught after the fact. And it's, again, these are very loud. These are not, because some of these EVPs I have, they're kind of quiet. They're kind of, like, what is that person saying? It's like, and then the recorder is like really loud, right? But no, at least on my end, I'm in a studio environment, so there's not much sound coming from my side. And especially when I'm cleaning up stuff, I can wipe out and clean, denoise a lot of different stuff automatically, and there was no reason for me to do that on when I was editing, because there was nothing there. So the line was just playing. I'm like, wait a minute, why? And I was pretty much pushing some stuff together, opposed to gap and in speaking. And so that's how I caught it, is I went to the beginning of something, and I was like, wait a minute, because it kept answering the questions that I was asking Silver Rain. It would answer before she did. So that's what was really weird about that particular situation. And again, there's a lot of other ones, but I was just saying on the list, that's not there. Like, because again, a lot of people don't do it like this. They don't record. A lot of people just record on Rode or in a particular device, and they just put the audio up. They don't do any extra editing, any compression, any of that stuff. And but I just want to make sure all these things are recording because of what's been going on.
After we're talking about all this stuff, especially this episode, right? We're going to have to double check.
Exactly. But but what are your thoughts on EVPs?
I mean, Amy, did you want to go first?
Yeah, I definitely think there is something to the EVPs. But then I also do think a lot of times it is a case of the pareidolia. Am I saying that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and like our brains are just like, we want to hear something, so we're going to find a way to hear that. But that's not to say that I don't think they exist, especially like the EVP that I found that I really want to share with you. And I'm hoping you guys haven't found it, but I'm thinking you might have found it, because I think it's a pretty popular, well-known one, but we'll see. But I think there's definitely something to it. What I do find interesting, though, is the different classes of EVPs. Like, how are some spirits able to, you can hear their voice in real time, but then other ones, you have to get them through, like a recording device. Like it's just kind of interesting.
You mean the disembodied voice to where you hear it with your ears opposed to
like how come some can come through, and others you can only hear through a device, you know what I mean? That's what I find pretty interesting. But yeah, I believe in the EVPs. Yeah.
I mean, I may be able to help answer that for you. Usually it's because some entities are stronger than others. They have the ability to, and it depends how long, unfortunately, they've been crossed over. Some learn how to utilize energy to manifest things, like move things or make sounds. Knocking is way easier for them than actually voices. That's why, when we talk about, like, and Bobby will probably understand this too, is like when we talk about radio waves, we don't see them, but we know they exist, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like these are kind of similar to that, where it's still electronic waves being passed, and that's why these devices are able to pick them up. And Bobby, before you got cut off, to pull in so you could show the audience these waveforms, I was talking about how that Panasonic D60, that one became a more popular one because I guess they upgraded something in it. And it's not even like a fancy one, like Bobby's saying. It's not a Zoom mic, it's not one of those. It's not any of his, like, Shure mics or special equipment. It's like a regular digital recorder that was mostly used, whether you were in college or a doctor, for dictation stuff. But what was happening is they realized they were picking up way more stuff than what was in the room at the time, or what they assumed to be. And now some of those equipment, and I'm sad because I almost bought one. I think they came out when I was like maybe either the late 90s or early 2000s. And I almost bought one. Now they're worth, some people sell them for $5,000, which is so crazy to me because they don't make them anymore.
Wow.
Because I guess they thought they were too sensitive, but they actually pick up so much. So now if you find one, hang on to it is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I have seen those being used, like when I watch ghost hunts, like on YouTube or something like that. They have like the old-fashioned looking recorder. Yeah,
and it's not to say that another recorder won't pick it up, because obviously, like Bobby's saying, some of the older ones just happen to pick it up easily. But I believe it's true. Like they're also, like what Bobby was saying earlier about, is this like something imprinted in the area, or is it an actual entity? And I think the way to figure out if it's a interactive one, basically you ask questions. If it responds to the questions and it's not a repeatable thing, I would say that it's some active spirit or entity that is there, that is actually conscious of you existing in its space. Because there's some that aren't. There's some that are just looping, and they may not even recognize you're even there,
Yes. Okay. I have something to say about two different things you guys talked about. One, I don't want to put Amy on blast because it's not about that, but Amy, when I edit out my and I had to do that twice just to emphasize that, and I edit out my craziness, you always were worried about your breath and about certain things, but your little things that you do are hilarious when I'm editing.
What?
Because her little breathing, all of those whimpering like sounds that you make. Yeah,
wait, say it again so I don't do it again.
No, you will do it. No, see, I don't want to give you a complex about it.
No, it's not,
because I'm pretty sure
what breathing thing.
The guys find it cute, but no, you do a lot of different things.
But okay, you're gonna have to tell me.
Because Carolyn had her own things. Vanessa is pretty much dead on with her mic etiquette, but I'm pretty sure I'll get her a couple times here or there. But
occasionally, I think when you're agreeing with somebody, you're just being courteous, but you go like that, like you do those.
and I do that all the time because I'm from the school of, I want to give you a response as you're talking, because some people will go into a talk dive to where they're like, I've been talking for 2 minutes and this person hasn't said anything, not a yes or anything. So I'm always giving them confirmation when they're speaking, and then some of that I will actually take out later. And again, this is an adult rated podcast for people that are out there. I don't think I need to play the disclaimer. I don't even know, it's somewhere in here, but But anyways, I could have definitely made a sex tape out of Amy's.
Oh wait, you should play that. You did send me something.
Yes.
Like, oh my god.
But
yeah, no.
But yeah. So but
yeah.
with all that being said, those small things, I can see them. I can see the graph is what I'm saying. They're not, they leave a response, and I'm not even sure if your the Skype ring picks that up. When you're even doing that, to be honest, on that part, anyways, as I'm playing it in my mind. And then on what Vanessa's saying about what I was talking about, the older recorders. Again, in this day and age, we use everything, or I should say a lot of things that are synthetic, that are manufactured. A lot of things back in the day in old school recorders were crystals. They were actual copper and real wires, and a lot of different, things that were made from the ground, from the earth. And we don't do that anymore, or I should say mostly because of cost and manufacturing and everything else. So a lot of it is reproduced to make it and utilize, copper in a certain way. Like real copper wire was like pure copper opposed to wrap within ribbon. And then they use different types of fabrics to wrap it in just to get that same power that they need to run it through. So there's all kind of different reasons on why that happens.
That's so interesting, by the way, because I never thought about that. I've built radios and stuff before. You're absolutely right. We used to use real copper wiring. And I never put two and two together because my dad loved stereo systems. So the crystals, like if they had, Sony would have like some of the best stereo systems because they use crystals and things in there for the radios. Yeah, and the tubes. I totally forgot about that. So that is a very, the smart thing to point out, because I didn't even think that we were utilizing these natural things within the earth to make this equipment back then. So, very smart connection there. I'm probably gonna look into older radios too.
All right. So, Amy, do you want to play your EVP first or what?
Yes. Let me find it.
And I only say that because I have mines. They're pretty much named, so at least I'll be able to know if you play yours. I was like, oh, okay, I won't play that one. Okay,
this is a long one, so I might have to kind of skip through and that kind of thing. No worries. But hang on, it's coming up. I had it up and then it disappeared from my screen, so let me just wait for it to load. Oh wait, no, not yet. No, hang on. Okay, let me give some background on it, and then you guys will know if you have this or not. But this is a 10-minute recording. Basically, it was by the Central New York Ghost Researchers, I think is their name. They went to, it was an undisclosed hotel that was built in the late 1800s. And it was all women, the researchers and the staff was all women. There were no men there. But they decided to record in a stairway because they were hearing like a lot of noises on the floor above it. So they happened to capture this. It's about 10 minutes. I'm not going to play the whole thing. I just kind of found some interesting parts to it.
Yeah.
Does this sound familiar to either one of you?
No, not at all.
No.
Oh, okay. Oh, good. Oh, I'm excited then. All right. So let me play this here. Let me go into about 1:48. And is it okay if I play about 2 minutes of this?
Yeah, no, it should be fine.
Okay. All right. And then I have one other one after that. So basically, you're going to hear like, I think it's like 3 females that are talking. And then all throughout, you can hear a male voice. And then some parts you can hear the researchers talking too. But that's the only thing that I don't like is it's just audio. It's not a video. So sometimes you're like, oh, was it the researchers or was it the EVP?
And mine are like that also. You don't know if someone, we'll put that disclaimer out right now. We don't know, other than the ones I'm talking about, I don't know if any of these are faked or if, they've been debunked or anything like that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So let me, it's going to go for about 2 minutes. And then after that, I have one more.
Okay.
So, I'm going to go ahead and hit play right now.
Wait a minute.
I can't hear anything.
Yeah, you have to share your because yeah, you have to, because I was like, wait a minute, I know she's she's using Rode, not
Wait,
no
what
Rode
do I
technology.
need to do?
Share your screen. So share your computer screen, and then when you share your computer screen, and make sure there's nothing that you don't want the public to see. As another disclaimer. Dang.
Okay, start sharing. Sorry. All right, let me find it again. Oh, here it is. Okay. You see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so now you're gonna be able to hear it, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
We should be too. Yeah.
Okay, let me go back then.
No, we can't hear it. That's interesting.
No, I can't hear it. I wonder if it's your settings on Skype, where if you're sharing something, you have to.
Wait, can you guys hear that?
No.
Oh,
I think it's your settings on Skype. Maybe
you guys could hear my audio though, right?
Yeah, we
could
hear your audio.
okay.
Yeah, I think you have to go into your settings. I mean, what I can do, I have actual 2 videos.
I can send the link to one of you and tell you where the spots are.
Okay, send to Vanessa. She's skilled in. I'm sorry, I'm just automatically default to Vanessa.
Okay, hang on. Let me.
I just don't want to mess up anything again based on the recordings.
While Amy's doing that, I could just share what I got. I'm only going to share 2, and they are video actually.
Oh, okay.
So that way we can. I liked it because that way we could actually see what was going on in it.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. Do I just email this then, or how
you
do
can
I
text it? You text the link. Is there?
I don't know. She's connected to her computer through that, but you could email too, Amy. You can go ahead and email it as well if it's easier for you from your computer. But let me share this real quick because I know Bobby has a few of them, so I will just share.
Mine are fairly quick. I have like maybe a 2-minute one, but yeah.
Yeah. So here
like...
is this guy recorded something while he was, I went through the thread. This is on Reddit, by the way. I went through the thread to see what the guy said about it. And basically, he lives in a rural area. This is one of his surveillance cameras. And he's had this camera for years. It's nothing new. But you'll hear something. You'll hear the sprinkler and stuff. But you kind of make out something. And I want to know what you guys think. I'm going to put the volume up, making sure. All right. Can you hear it?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm going to hit it again because it's only 5 seconds. And here's the thing. His camera moves when there's movement. Watch the screen again. Because, and you think it's... So I think it picks up the sprinkler water. But can you guys make out what it's saying?
Mm-mm.
I just see or something, or I...
Yeah, something like that. But here's the thing. I'm also a little not sure about this one.
Could
only
it be
because,
the scraping of the camera moving, the rotation of
it's that, or, how far does that sprinkler go out towards that wooded pile? There was also that movement that showed when the sprinkler hit it.
Yeah.
It's hard to say. Oh, sorry. See, that's why I had the volume off. This one was weird because he didn't really think it was an EVP, but he had something go on in his house. And you can see the movement and he'll come out.
Yeah.
And but let me get to the one actually that this one is actually interesting. This guy was in an ambulance because he got shot in the eye with a BB gun.
Oh, okay.
And this one is, but he was recording it for his friends, I guess, to show. And then he realized he didn't hear it. He said he didn't hear it in real time. So it was only after the fact. Oh, wait, I have the volume off. That's great. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, right at the
What
end.
did it say? Could you tell?
I think it says I'm ready or something.
Ooh,
What
that's
happened to
creepy.
my background though? Look, and everybody can see my bed now.
What happened?
I don't know. That's why I was like, what do it?
Well,
I hate when
you
that
have to
happens.
put it back and then re-edit it. It's gonna be a lot of editing on this show.
He's so
Jesus.
vulnerable.
This was not supposed to be an edited show.
All right, let's try this again.
Let's try that again.
We're gonna- I'm telling you, it's something going on in the planetary shift here. Okay, so
yes.
but I think he's saying, though, I'm going to repeat it for them because I'm going to put out, but I think he's saying, I'm ready or something like that. Something like that. But I think this one, to me, this one's more realistic because the guy was just recording it for his friends. Obviously, you can hear the ambulance guy go, hey, we're going to lift you up. And, yes, I'm ready.
And one thing I can say, because here's the thing, it's kind of like what Amy was talking about as far as, you don't know if it's other people in the background and you don't know if they heard it at the time because, again, they're not doing an investigation. It's not something that's really clear. I mean, to where you're like just waiting for something, then something pops up and you're like, wait, I didn't hear that when I was recording or looking for that, right? But what you can say about that particular clip, that audio is very distinctively different from all the other audio. It has an eerie-ish sound to it. Because you do hear little things, someone talking in the background, you do hear that. But when that audio plays, it has a different, I want to say texture, but you can't hear texture. But it has a
almost
different
frequency though. Maybe a frequency.
It's like an airy sound to it,
like that or something.
Yeah,
I do find it interesting. It was close enough to the mic though to pick it up that clearly because, it's almost like it knew in a way that it's like. I don't know. It sounded like it was right by the guy.
Oh, Vanessa, that is an ambulance. You know how many people died in that thing?
Oh no, I know.
So I'm saying, like
I've had friends who are first, responders, and some have said that they believe certain ambulances are haunted.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And they get creepy vibes. That's why, especially late at night when they're waiting, sometimes to have to go, they don't like sitting in the ambulance. Sometimes you'll see them hanging out.
Yeah,
it's because they're not comfortable. I have this last one. I'm not sure about this one, but this person, I guess, they basically have said that this has been going on in their house. So they started, and they don't own the house, so the lighting is not their choice, is what they said. But I guess this only happens when they're by themselves. The toddler is napping. Everything's off in the house. So let me put it up here, and I'll stop talking so we can. This one's a little hard to hear.
Yeah, you can hear it low.
Yeah, it's very low, which also is interesting to me. I would be curious, though, if this person did any research on the home, to find out if any of these names are relative to the home. The only one that is a little spooky is Get Out, I'll Hurt You, right? and one of them, I guess, said kick them, but that's their interpretation. Like I would love to extract the audio from this and amplify it and re-listen to it myself, to actually see if those are the words, because this is this person's assumption those are the words, and even with headphones on, it's kind of hard to hear some of them. At least to me. But I'd turn up them decibels if I pull it. I'd throw it in Audition, but. So those are the ones I got.
Okay. Amy sent you her link.
Oh, that's right. Let me go look at my email real quick.
Well, she texted also, if you need that.
Oh, you did? Okay, let me.
Whichever's easier.
I got that right. Open right now.
Okay. So basically, you're going to hear, I think it's someone saying to get off. So basically, this was like a hotel that was, I think it was a brothel back in the day. You're going to hear like females talking. You're going to hear a male's voice, even though there were no men there with the researchers. And then you're going to hear the sounds of a struggle. So yeah, so let's do like from 144 to about 340 for the first one.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
Make sure the volume is up. Okay.
What the hell was that? That was like a murder scene and at a prison, Amy. What the hell was that?
Well, it was very disturbing to me because it sounds like a woman was being attacked and she was screaming.
I could envision that.
No, but is that a real thing or is that the EVP? Like what?
Yeah, that was the EVP.
Oh, the EVP was her screaming.
Yeah, and then in the beginning, you can hear somebody saying, "Get off of me." Yeah, and then you hear the sounds of that struggle, and then you hear this high pitched scream. So okay, you definitely got to set the scene on this one because I'm lost. So
I think what they did is they probably set the recorder and left, right, Amy, or like what? Because I don't hear any talking. Or
yes, you'll hear a little bit later. I think in the second clip. But yeah, so they're just the researchers just sitting there. Obviously they have a recording going, but they're not hearing anything.
So none of these people are real. This is all EVPs that are being captured of a struggle and okay, cool. Because I didn't know like what was happening.
Yeah, and I think I stopped right here because you can hear a door open. So obviously there's movement. That squealing at the end was a door opening and closing. At least that's what it sounds to me.
Oh, I thought that was like a screaming, like a woman screaming.
Well, there was one prior to that. That was definitely a woman's scream. But this, to me, it's the researchers, to me, opening a door that has a squeaky door to it. Especially living in New York City, those doors are very heavy into the stairwells and usually not well maintained. So to me, that is a squeaky door right there.
Yeah, that's the only thing is just, since we don't have the video, it's kind of hard, like when it's the researchers versus the EVP. But you do hear a male's voice quite a bit throughout it. And like I said, there are no men there with them. So, and then I just have like one more. It's from 4:15 to 5:01.
That is creepy.
Yeah. When I heard it, I got chills.
Yeah.
So I'm and I'll tell you guys what I actually saw when I heard it. That's why I made a reaction, because I could see
my goodness,
the struggle. So it's not.
Oh my goodness.
So and I'll tell. That's what I meant about a loop. Spirits getting stuck in a loop, especially.
Are you okay? Tragic. Then
I'm okay.
Listen to the next one. Okay.
Yeah, I'll be okay. It just comes to me. I can actually sometimes see it because it's traumatic. It's a very
Oh my goodness.
Let's see what it.
Yeah, I can hear the door. I can hear.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought that was a scream. I thought that was a scream. Okay, so it's my fault.
Here's the thing. I wish I would have known though if they were opening doors at that time. Like if they
you can hear it's a door.
Yeah, or is that the guy dragging the girl out the door?
That's I don't. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Because,
that video.
That's interesting, but again, like I thought at 3:30 it was the door opening, closing. So in a minute later, somebody also went out. So my question is, was that part of the full EVP? Like, did they say nobody left the door? Nobody was using the door? We just heard that? Because when I first heard it and I could hear the woman initially start struggling, I can see what was happening to her. I'm pretty sure he strangled her to death is what really happened. And so at least that's what it sounds like to me, or the visual I got was him like pinning her down on the stairs. And the second time of hearing the door, I had a visual of him dragging her out of the door. So I'm wondering if that's if they talk about that, if there was any doors open or anything while they were.
Yeah, they didn't give that information. What does it say? Yeah, they don't talk about the door. They were just talking about like an old-fashioned clock ticking, which we can hear the clock ticking, but nothing about the door. Yeah, I just thought it was somebody screaming, but now when you mentioned the door, I can hear the door. But like you said, I'd be curious to know if it was like in the EVP or if it was real life door opening. Either way, it was disturbing. You can hear something bad was happening. Like there was a struggle there and something was happening to a woman there. So like when I heard that, it just really it gave me chills.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. Honestly, like to me, I think she was strangled in the stairwell. Like that's what I think happened to her. But what the sad thing about sometimes these loops is that both spirits are trapped, because once the guy does something horrible, it's almost like sometimes they're connected now until one breaks free of the other, or vice versa. Or the guys, sometimes the perpetrator, the emotional connection of doing that because they feel guilty, they don't even allow that spirit to move on either. So it's really, you never know that we'd have to like go there to really tell if that's what it is, or if it's sometimes I think I talked about this a little bit with you guys, like people's fractal light gets fractured from them, and they may move on, but like pieces of them are left, and it's repeating the trauma.
Interesting.
Wow.
Mhm.
So yeah, but that was still an interesting thing, like.
I wasn't
What hotel
expecting.
is it?
I
So
wasn't
I know never to
expecting
stay
that.
there. What is?
Yeah, I know. They don't say what hotel it is. Somewhere in or New York somewhere.
Oh,
Leave it up to
Syracuse, yeah.
Amy to find something that creepy. Whew.
The hotel owners, it says, have asked to keep its location confidential. Yeah, I can understand why.
Yeah, I guess so.
That's rough. On that note, since we're talking about people, finding situations or hearing circumstances that happen, I was actually looking up different EVPs and scenarios, and I came across Grant Wilson of Ghost Hunters. I'm pretty sure everyone's familiar with him. Great guy. And he talks about a scenario when they actually got an EVP on Ghost Hunters. And I'm not even sure this was on an episode. This was probably, it seems like before they were, doing the show and stuff. And I'm gonna go ahead and play that because I find it very interesting, especially when you hear an EVP and then there's an outcome to the EVP that's heard. So I'm gonna go ahead and play that.
EVPs are so important. For example, one case we did back before the show involved a woman that was living in a house in New York City. Her family had lived there for 3 generations. Down in the basement, we kept getting an EVP of the name Beatrice. We asked the homeowner who Beatrice was, and she had no idea. She contacted her mother, and her mother didn't know. The mother suggested contacting the grandmother in a home. The response from the grandmother was, "Where did you hear that name?" She told us to head upstairs, knock a hole in the wall, and we'd find our answers. I'm all about knocking holes in walls, so we got permission, went up there, and busted a hole in the wall. Fortunately, we didn't find Beatrice in the wall. What we did find was a leather-bound journal. This journal was kept by the client's grandfather, who was involved in organized crime back in the day. There he kept a list of all his misdeeds to get it off his chest. As we looked through the journal, we started seeing the name Beatrice. Beatrice was the name of this guy's mistress. Well, he got her pregnant, and she was gonna squeal, so he had his goons put her in a pit in the basement and cement it over. Well, at this point, we decided to head down to the basement, and sure enough, there was a patch of cement right where we were catching these EVPs. At this point, it was out of our hands. We gave the journal to the police and let them handle the rest.
So they were able to close that particular case of that missing individual.
Oh,
And, all
wow.
those-
So then that's like kind of proof that they're real, right? They actually
Exactly.
solved a missing person's case through EVPs.
Yep.
Mm.
So
Nobody's gonna comment how that lady knew and never said nothing. No.
wow, that's how the mob wives were, and how she was able to stay alive.
Yeah.
So that's just that's par for the course. She's like, I'm not saying nothing, but she did. I guess the guy was probably since passed, and everything else.
Or she just knew that it was a mistress, but didn't know that something happened to her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Maybe they just thought the lady finally stopped.
I think
it.
she knew about the book. She probably is the one that put the book in the wall.
I'm just being nice about it.
Yeah, she's probably the one that's like, let me. If I need this, like that's probably what kept her alive. But that's another
right.
episode. But let's go ahead and now get into some my EVPs that are just probably creepy, but not as creepy and unreal as Amy's was on that one. Wow for the night. But yeah, so these are just voices. I do have one that is a little long, but I think it's very descriptive. But we'll talk about it. Here we go. Did you guys catch that?
Mm-hmm.
One more time.
Yeah.
One more time.
Here we go.
I want to hear it one more time.
What do you think he said?
I'm down here.
I'm down here, or I'm not. I'm not. Yeah.
Yeah, that was. I heard that one too. Yeah, that's super creepy. That one. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that was very clear.
Okay, check this one out.
This is an EVP that I recorded during my last investigation at Edinburgh Manor in Iowa. I literally just got home and I'm reviewing evidence straight off of my voice recorder. So there's been no editing. This is straight off the voice recorder. We ask the question to the spirits, and then we get the responses. We can play them back in real time right off the recorder. So what you're going to hear is I'm going to press play, and then you're going to hear the EVP right away at the beginning of the clip. Now, to me, it sounds like the spirit says, "Come listen to me." And the way it says it is, "Come listen to me. Come listen to me." So I'm going to play it back a couple times so you guys can hear it. This is raw and no editing done at all.
So did you guys catch it?
Yeah, I almost think he's saying you listen to me. Not
yeah,
come
because
listen.
it's a different, when he initially does it, there's that cadence is there, but as he replays it, it kind of changes in the middle to the end of it, the cadence of it, of what he thinks it's saying. But I do find it interesting, especially when you're discussing or having a conversation and then it just comes over the top, or it's just sitting right in the pocket of that background. Here is a one where there is, I want to say it's a father and daughter at a table having an EVP session in their actual home.
Why won't you leave this house?
Why won't you leave this house?
Is there a reason you can't leave?
Is there a reason you can't leave? No.
Are your names Brian and Mary?
Are your names Brian and Mary?
Wow.
Why do you keep doing stuff and terrorising family members?
Why do you keep doing stuff and terrorising family members?
What do you guys think?
What was the last one? The last thing it said?
I didn't catch that last one. I couldn't tell. It was, to me, it's just a voice. A distinctive voice, but I couldn't make out what it said, what it says. For time,
There was a scream though in there, right?
Yes. That's when everybody in the room reacted. Once they, I don't know if they were hearing it in real time or hearing it back, because initially they were playing it to where they would say the thing, then they play what they record it and so on and so forth. But then as you go, they stop doing that. So
I'm curious too. Who is Brian and Mary to them? Because they obviously know some history, right? So. Because here's intuitively what I think is Brian is the one pulling the strings. Mary's kind of trapped, like kind of the similar situation what I was telling you about with Amy's EVP. I don't know why my brain just short circuited there. So I was like, what acronym am I trying to say right now? But I do feel like there's something else there that they are aware of, that they know a story or history of the house.
Yeah, I believe it was their home that they were constantly being haunted. And so they sat down and had an EVP session with the ghost by doing research and thinking they can get some questions answered and try to get the ghost to move on. But let's go to another one. So there's two voices happening here. You can hear a woman saying, "Help me, help me." I don't know if she's saying I'm down here or I'm drowning, because this is in a hotel pool area. But then there's a dark voice that you can hear. And I'm not sure what he's saying. I'm going to go ahead and play that one again. Yeah, that one's kind of creepy.
That one's, it's a little spooky, but it's almost like I feel like that other voice is saying the same thing. Help me, like the same thing. I don't know. Well, my thing is I'm wondering if it's the same entity and it's just switching up the voice in a way. Because that's what it feels like to me.
Yeah.
But this is just intuition. I have no idea what this thing is about, like where they're at.
Yeah. This is like just clips off of the internet with different EVPs and the thing.
But that was very clear, though.
Oh yeah,
It was very clear.
That was quick and to the point.
Yeah, get out.
Oh.
You can hear that, right, Amy?
Yeah. Can you play it one more time, though?
Get out.
Yeah, get out.
Oh, goodness. I'm assuming that was somebody's home.
No, that was actually a insane asylum that they were investigating, and they caught that.
Get out.
Exactly. Here we go.
How were you associated with the hospital?
You guys catch that one?
I'll play it again.
How were you associated with the hospital?
I thought it said like I'm here, but I don't know. Like
I couldn't tell.
Was it I'm not done yet, or it was so weird?
How were you associated with the hospital?
I'm not sure what that.
Dunyan? Maybe it's a word. Maybe it's
Or
something.
Was it I'm not done yet?
That's what I thought it was, but I'm not sure.
Well, I'm wondering if there's a place around there named a place where it was taken from. Dunyan. Do you know what insane asylum it was?
No.
Oh, see, that's the only issue when we don't have like all the background.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep. But the question is, do you think it was an EVP?
Yes, I do think it was.
All right. Okay. Now we're going to get into my EVPs in different sessions, and this again is very interesting. So I'm going to start with Silverrain's EVPs. Here we go.
Welcome.
Thank you for joining us tonight.
Welcome back, Silver Rain.
Thanks for having me.
So, soul contracts. Did you give us a little synopsis before we get into it?
Yeah, I thought it said hi or hello or something like.
Said thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
But you said that kept happening, like her whole interview?
Different, not just this interview. It was different. She's the most, again, until this started happening, that's when I started looking like, wait a minute, let me go back and listen to certain things. Or when I would have her on, then I would kind of prod me to just listen to her audio and see if there's anything that pops up on her track, and it so happens that there was. But I'm going to play that again for the audience.
Yeah, please. I want to hear it again.
Let me give it a little bit of volume. Here we go.
Welcome.
Thank you for joining us tonight.
Welcome back, Silver Rain.
Thanks for having me.
So, soul contracts. Give us a little.
I thought it said hello. That's what I thought it said. Not thank you.
No, I got thank you.
Okay. I don't know. I think I said.
And again, it's shout out to Sky, my female AI. That's Sky talking in the beginning, and then it goes into to that.
Welcome.
Thank you for joining us tonight.
Welcome back, Silver Rain.
Thanks for having me.
So, soul contracts. So you get something different, huh? Give us a little.
Yeah, I think it's saying hello. I don't know. That's what I think. It just says like that, but I could be wrong.
I get that. Okay. Here's another one. This is all on her audio as we're talking. And I was like, why? Who's giggling or what female is talking, right? And I pulled just that track, and this is happening on her end as we're talking. And I had to filter it out and everything as far as just to pull this up is what it is.
It's definitely female.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That is
Definitely
wild.
female.
That one sounded like a kid's voice, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Wanna
sounds
play it?
very youthful.
I
I was
wanna-
gonna say I don't know about the sounds, but the
Yeah.
giggling and that is definitely
I'm going to play it
not
one more
her.
time.
I think that's two different voices.
Yeah.
I think one is a kid, the first one, and the other one is older.
Yeah.
Giggle.
That is wild.
Oh,
Okay,
wow.
let's go into Melissa's EVPs. Well, actually, I think that I think this is one, but I have it with and without. But here we go. After life, what is the reason why you do this? Because you know that there are these entities and other beings that are out there. So I'm curious on what keeps you motivated, because you already have that, identifying factor. Okay, here's the thing. When I first heard it, I'm like, why is there a CB, or why is there some type of, cross
Interference or
interference
something, yeah.
coming through, right? I'm like, why didn't we hear that on the show and everything else? Again, this does not, she is on a separate track. I'm talking over her on a separate track. There is no waveform or anything whatsoever. And then, so that prompted me I'm like, okay, what is going on? And then that's when I went and looked, and I'm like, okay, this is definitely an EVP. Because one, we didn't hear it live. And two, it had no graph whatsoever. Now here's the audio by itself. Life. What is the reason why you do this? Because you know that there are these entities and other beings that are out there. So I'm curious on what keeps you motivated, because you already have that, identifying factor. And two things. That's the only time this happened in the interview that I was able to pull up. So it's not like I'm feeding back in her mic or anything like that. And again, if it was me on her channel looping through, I would still see the audio graph that would come up is the thing.
That's interesting.
I was wondering if you can replay the
Which one?
isolated one that I started coughing through. But you're not wrong. It actually does happen to me when there's something associated. I do actually I've learned now that if I'm reading something that they don't want me to, it starts happening. So you're not wrong when you said that, catching spirits, because I'm learning that sometimes they don't want me talking.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, it happens. So, but I do want to hear it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Hang on.
I told them to get off me.
Here we go. Do you want to hear it with me talking normally and then play it?
No, the isolated one. The isolated one.
I don't know what that's saying. I can't make it out. I've tried. But yeah, I don't know what's happening there.
Yeah, I mean, Amy's not wrong to question if it was feedback, like from her speakers or something.
Yeah.
But I don't think so.
No, it's not.
Because
It's
it doesn't
100%
go
not.
along with your cadence and what you're saying. You know what I mean? Like, that's why I wanted to rehear, because I started coughing and then Amy said that and I was like, that could possibly it, but I wanted to rehear. But
yeah,
it doesn't go with your cadence or anything. It definitely, I would have thought, like, if it was a radio like you're saying, interference, but you're not picking up airwaves like that. So,
yeah,
but it's interesting.
Yeah. And,
sure.
and again, it's as I'm talking, her, I don't know if she was, whatever she was doing, she was doing, but, and again, it's not, when I say, especially if they're on Skype, like, you guys are on the same track. So even though you're not talking, Amy's household could be making a sound, or her desk, or she could be hitting her desk, or sliding something, she could be, manipulating her mic or whatever, right? I'm going to be able to see that in a graph and pick it up and know that, to visually see that sound. And doesn't matter if it came from her, or if it came from you, or however it is, right? The key thing is there is no sound. There should be no sound. Exactly. And this is what I was trying to tell you guys. The volume wise, when you have something as loud as these particular sounds are, it is very distinctive graph. It is loud. It's not something that's really quiet, or it's like Amy's, or something like that. It's not. That's still going to make a graph or make a sound, and I'm gonna know where it came from. But these are pretty loud. Here we go. That's a straight up giggle. I mean,
that's
what was that from though?
That's from Silvers.
Okay.
Yeah, that's from Silvers. And then there's this.
Welcome.
Again, thank you for joining us tonight.
Welcome back, Silver Rain.
Thanks for having me.
Like, I hear a thank you. I mean, just soul contracts.
Yeah.
And then obviously this one here. What is the reason why you do this? Because that there are these entities and other beings that are out there. Mm-hmm.
That sounds like the same one that was on Melissa's, though.
No, this is Melissa's. I'm just playing them back to back. I'm just giving you, no. I'm giving people the audible of how loud it is more so. So I'm just playing all of the tracks just so you understand how loud something is. Because again, a lot of the other EVPs you heard, they're really soft, really quiet. Mm-hmm. But when you're working in a controlled environment to a degree, especially on my end, I'm an audiophile. Right. So I'm listening to every pop, everything, I know I have to go clean it up or do this or do that. So I'm listening to everything. So when I hear, as I'm talking and I'm hearing any crazy audio in my headphones, I'm like, okay, I need to stop. Let's take a break. I need to fix this. Or, I know I have to go clean that up. And not only do I know I have to clean it up, I might not be able to clean it up, especially if you two are talking, because you're on the same track. I'm on a different track. So I can always, I know to go mute that track and then let the person talk and so on and so forth. And I'll be gone. So I don't even have to edit it. Again, and I've been doing this for, over 5 years I've been doing audio forever and engineering forever, but as far as just podcasting, but as far as actual professional style audio, I've been doing that for decades. And so, yeah, and I've never had to, even in the studio, well, obviously in the studio is an even more controlled environment, but yeah, there's no lost audio. If there's pops or something like that, it's in the equipment, in the wires, all that, but it still creates a graph and, able to clean it up and, use a noiser or, de-esser, just certain things that you can use to clean up certain things, a limiter and all kind of stuff. And, so I just find it extremely interesting. I do definitely believe in EVPs. I think we all do. It is a thing. What it is, I truly don't know. Vanessa, do you have some idea of what these things are?
Like I said, I do think we're all energy. So I do think it's about how much energy they can produce. And if you hear that when you're editing, Bobby, that's my cat trying to get into the house through my window and scratching my screen porch. I just want you to know that before you go, when you were talking.
If it doesn't show a graph, then I might have to.
I'm pretty sure she just pulled the screen out. So BRB. I'm so sorry.
No worries. But Amy, what about you? Because people, when they hear EVPs, a lot of people give a lot of weight to EVPs, even over, some things they see visually, because they're like, you know what, I can keep playing that back. I know that we didn't hear that, when we were actually talking or having that conversation, right? And, with visual, you question yourself. Did I really see that? I don't have it on. It's not recorded. I'm not sure because there's not a lot of recordings of like shadow figures and stuff like that. I'd definitely say there's way more EVPs that come across in any type of shadow figure or figures that you catch like that.
Yeah. No, I think I definitely think there's some truth to it, especially when it's an EVP where you hear they're answering direct questions.
Yeah.
Like there's no vague answers that could be interpreted some other way. Or sometimes they'll say things that like you're like, oh my gosh, that's like they're saying something that nobody else would know to say that. So I think like in certain situations that gives credibility. Also, like when there are EVPs that happen in the exact same place too, with like the exact same message. So it's like circumstances like that I do think they're credible. But again, do I think they're all EVPs? Of course not. I think it's oftentimes a case of the pareidolia too,
Yeah.
So, and I know that because I get like the visual pareidolia. I used to watch ghost cams a lot, and I would watch like a static one, and like there's often pixelations in the static
like
cameras.
Your brain tries to make a figure or shape out of it.
Yeah. I'm like, there's a demon face right there. And then like I would take a picture, a screenshot with my camera, and then I'd go back and look. I'm like, what was I? That was nothing.
Yeah.
So I think that can be said for also, audio EVPs, but I definitely do think there are some genuine ones out there. Mm-hmm.
Again, that's my cat crying. If you hear that, so it's not a ghost of a cat.
It's not.
Her cat's
Trust
like
me,
a feisty cat.
She's very feisty. She's a tortie, so has that tortitude. I never knew that was real until I got her, but she is definitely a sassy cat. One of the sassiest cats I've ever had. So.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny.
But yeah. So I don't know what I was saying before, but. Yeah, I do think so like you said, Amy, some of them are real. Some of them, they're just too degraded for us to like make out, even if there's something there, so you kind of got to throw some things like out the window. But, some of these shows still keep those things in and you go, that could be anything, you can't really make it out.
They're
but
definitely doing entertainment for that purpose to let, theater of the mind. Well, could it have been? And, it was a grip standing with the boom arm and,
I'd rather them just be honest, like, hey, we didn't get anything.
Doesn't make for a great show, but,
I know.
all the creep factors and the bumps that go bump in the night. And again, when we ever go and if we're doing like a late night thing and, I don't know who will all be there, but I think sometimes the entertainment can just be in the folly that happens, as you go. And then you go back and look and start going through things and you end up finding something. You can be out ghost hunting and then a person can be hungry. You get growling of the stomach and for whatever reason, it will sound like a voice. It will sound like someone's talking, which is extremely interesting. But what I do love about Silver Rain's EVPs on a lot of it probably, like I said, it probably happened about 4 times. Whatever it was answering for her. Like there was something, I remember it was like, not how are you doing, but something about a scenario. And then, but it said something negative. She said something positive, but it said something negative. And so when I started hearing it and started realizing this, and I was thinking like, was it her real thoughts coming through? Like, because it was answering the questions, opposed to, it could be an EVP, but was it her actual thoughts, like, I really don't want to be doing this.
You said that she does ghost hunting, right? And goes in people's houses and cleanses them.
Yeah. And she's a witch. She does spells. She puts bad spells on people, good spells on.
Yeah, it could be all kinds of things around her. Then
yeah, she does.
Especially if she's not cleansing herself, though.
No, she's doing that. She's doing that, but even though she even cleansed herself, she still has things that happen in her home. But I think she allows some of those. She's okay with some of those spirits staying there. And long as they listen to her and do what she says, pretty much for the most part. But yeah, no, it's EVPs are very interesting, and I think you would think that the more technology we have, the more they would come across. But I truly don't think that's the case, only because we're going away from certain things that, how we're able to pull and talk to these spirits and stuff like that. And I think if we get back to that, I think, more of that will come across. And you can add to the technology that we have to bring out certain things, opposed to totally, just, oh, I got this new Zoom recorder. It cost me $10,000. Why am I not picking up anything on this thing? And like, yeah, EVPs are fake. That just proves it right there. And that's what a lot of people, do.
You're 100% right, Bobby. Like the newer technology, like you said, doesn't use all these other natural resources, and maybe that's what it is, like a different source of energy in them, and so they can't actually utilize it as well. I just want to go back to the grumbling in the stomach. I do like certain people who ghost hunt and say, hey, that was my stomach.
Yeah, exactly.
They mark it so that way, just in case.
Yeah.
It's like me telling you, hey, that was my cat. Like that's my.
Yes, I've watched.
What I was thinking though, Bobby, like with the use of AI for everything, can you upload these EVPs and ask AI, what is this real, or what do you think this is, and get a response?
Maybe
the ones that I use, they don't allow it to interpret audio, only text and respond to, basically it's pulling things off of the web. It will give you what is said and, from a vast array of knowledge, from the internet and everything that it's pulling from. But I'm pretty sure that will be a thing in the next, couple of years, Amy,
I think they're already doing it, Bobby.
They are. But talking about us having access, I don't have access to anything like that. But I'm pretty sure Google, Department X has, stuff they've been working on, because even visually, to where AI responding to what it's seeing, because even my Meta glasses will. It's a new thing called active AI, and I'm able to turn that on my glasses to where it actively sees everything in front of me, to where it can respond. Like, hey, I'm holding a can of soup. What can I make with this can? What can I make with this? I don't have to say what it is, and then it will start giving me a list. It'll look around. It'll see, where I'm looking at and tell, hey, grab this, grab that. You can make this, you can make that. But as far as it responding to something visually or audibly, I don't know of anything that does that.
Well, I was going to tell you, actually, they just came out with the fact that the AI did say that the moon landing photos were faked. And so now the other missions and stuff, they were saying those were real. So they even broke down why they believe it's fake. I think you can upload audio and video, and they have their, I told you guys, I think I got a subscription. I almost said prescription because it feels like it, but they have that new video option, the what is it called, Sora, where it's AI, but you can give Sora stuff. So I'm wondering, maybe I'll mess with it one day. Maybe I'll pick something that I know looks real. I'll
definitely look that up, but I don't think we have.
We could take some UFO videos and maybe throw them in there and see what they say.
Oh,
throw in
do
my
yours.
personal one. Yeah, because I know they're real, so I can throw it in and see what it says.
Oh, that's a good idea.
That would be interesting, actually. Yeah. I never even thought about that. All right, well, guys, maybe another episode.
Exactly.
Can't wait to hear about that one. Yeah.
Yeah. And just for the record, when Vanessa did something with her mouse or something, there was a pop. So just as a little marker, there was a...
maybe it was because, maybe I hit my mouse or something.
So again, it's not something that you actually hear in the time of recording. These are things that you hear after playback, and they're there.
Yes.
Just FYI. All right. Well, any other questions on EVPs or anything you think the audience should be aware of when it comes to that, ladies?
No, just that I hope they send us some of their EVPs so we can go through and decipher
Yes,
those
definitely.
as best as we can. That would be fun.
Yeah, don't be faking EVPs, people, and sending them just for the record.
Yeah, give us some context too. Not, let us know like the situation, how many people were around, why were you doing the EVP to begin with? Because usually people are doing it because something strange is going on.
Yeah.
Or it's a historical place and people want to see if there's something lingering or whatever. But and if you're doing it in your house, I do have a thing to tell you guys. It's like if there's nothing there, don't ask for something to come talk to you, okay?
Damn.
So, because they may hang out.
She's saying don't. Yeah, if you're not having any type of experience.
I just want you guys to know, like, we're not saying go start recording EVPs in your home, okay? Just
go start. I'm saying it. Bobby's saying it. Go start recording them in your home. Go to cemeteries. Go start exploring.
Yeah.
Because the more
start getting Nest cameras too, so we can start watching all
the more new
activity that
explorers,
happens.
the better, and the more information that we're going to find out. But the better it is for everyone to get closer to this puzzle, because this is something that the government is not locking away from people. This is not aliens to where, if they just let us know and, show us what they have. No, this is these type of things, and loved ones have passed on, and we want to know what is actually going on. So if you have any experience, if you are a budding ghost hunter or adventurer, please send things to us. You can do it at our email address, strangedarknessradio@gmail.com. But if you have a story or just want to come on the show, you have a great scenario that happened to you, whether it's paranormal, UFO related, or just, you're being haunted, you want to talk to us about it or try to get help with it, hit us up. You can actually call at 916-741-3032. Anything else?
No, I don't think so.
So I think we are out for the night. Good night.
Good night.
Bye.
As your journey through the shadow realms of Strange Darkness Radio concludes, remember that you unlock the door to the paranormal with the key of imagination. Beyond it lies another dimension, a dimension of eerie soundscapes, chilling sights, and the profound depths of the mind. You're venturing into a land of both haunting shadows and tangible substance, where the ethereal meets the corporeal, and ideas take on a spectral form. You've just crossed over into the Strange Darkness Radio Zone. In the vast expanse of the paranormal, there exists a fifth dimension, extending beyond the known realms of our understanding. It is a dimension vast as the cosmos and eternal as infinity, a mysterious terrain between the illumination of light and the depths of shadow. This is the middle ground between the empirical and the supernatural, where fears fester in the pit of humanity's soul and knowledge ascends to its zenith. Welcome to the dimension of imagination, an area we dub the Strange Darkness Radio Zone. As you conclude your journey with us, remember that you're departing this peculiar zone, a place where reality intertwines with the surreal. Be cautious as you step out, for you may find that the boundaries between the normal and the paranormal blur, leaving you forever in the lingering embrace of the unknown. Until next time, farewell from the depths of the Strange Darkness Radio Zone.